record. Well, I guess it's been a little while. So, for everyone here, um, I'm here with author Lynn Taylor, and we recently started a marketing business for authors called bookvision.net. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So, very exciting. So, we just did a show on her podcast because we're trying to get the word out. We're doing like our grand opening on October 4th. Probably, if you're watching this, you've already seen a video or two, but we've done kind of like a soft launch. Now we're going to do like an official launch on October 4th. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of information. So, um, starting out, we started out with this whole book trailers thing that we're making, like show readers a preview of your book in kind of a movie format, video and narration, music, all this kind of cool stuff. And the project since then has been rapidly evolving, and you have a sort of grand vision for everything the company can be. So we're going to talk a little bit about the grand vision really quick. So you came up with this idea of this create, grow, promote thing. With the idea being that it's not just about, okay, you're an author and you've got a book out there and now I want to make a trailer to market it. You're like, there's people at all points in this journey. There's people who maybe they've written an amazing book, but they don't quite have the confidence to get over like that imposter syndrome to put the book out there. Or, hey, I finished a book, but like I could use an editor, I could use beta readers, ARC readers. I have a book out there. I want to create an audiobook. How do I find a narrator? How do I create my audiobook? What are my publishing options? And then like, okay, my book is out there, but how do I market this thing? So we're trying to make a whole network that we can assist writers at every stage of this journey, from like getting your book to completion, getting all the typos out of it, to um, promoting it, building your, I don't know, audiobook, your ebook, your cover design, all this different stuff, and then building up your social network, and try not to learn too many things the hard way and spend money you don't have to spend to get where you're trying to go. So
Yeah,
anything,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah.
Well, so you said at one point, I think it was like 1% of everyone that tries, or some kind of very low percentage of everyone that tries to write, gives like is actually successful and actually publishes their first book. Like there's a huge percentage of people that get stuck at some point, and usually it's in the beginning. It's the I don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. I don't know who to ask. Am I really doing all this by myself? Which as an indie author, some of it, yes, but really you don't have to. There are plenty of
Yeah.
resources and communities out there. But like you said, you don't want us, or we don't want you to have to go through it all the hard way or spend 2 years trying to figure it out. And then you're like, absolutely nothing's happening. I feel like I wasted all my time. And you have this beautiful gem of a story that you don't know what to, like, how to get it out there.
Yeah. And even, okay, when I started out, I didn't even know about like Amazon self-publishing, right? So like there's a scenario where you work very hard on a book and you think it's perfect, and then you're like, okay, I'm going to try to get with like Penguin or Simon Schuster or something. You're like, okay, what do I need? You go to their website and you're like, okay, they don't want any authors to reach out to them directly. And understandably so, there's over a million books published every year. Like they can't just be taking emails from everybody. So you're like, okay, I need an agent. So then you're like, how do I get an agent? And it's like, you got to know this agent. You got to know everything they've worked on. You got to send them a very personal letter. And then you wait 6 months and you may or may not ever hear back. So there's this scenario where like you've written this book and then you're trying so hard to convince anyone to even look at it. And then you kind of never hear back and you're like, okay, I guess I'm going to put this in a drawer. And you may not know that you don't have to do that. Like, listen, if you believe in your book, I mean, you could publish it tomorrow. And like, you could come our way and like, we'll help you. We'll try to fill in the missing pieces, things you don't know, and we can help you market it. We'll give you free information too of like, okay, what comes next and like, what are the things that I should be working on? You can bring your art into the world, and like there are resources to help you with that. So that's kind of, yeah, that's one of the big picture things we're trying to do here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was 5 books in before I even joined TikTok and Book Talk and knew about indie
Right.
authors. And like, this is really sad and embarrassing. I didn't know I was an indie author for my first 5 books. Like, I didn't know that was a term and that
Right.
was a huge thing, or that there was even a community of other indie authors. I thought this was a very rare thing, and I was trying something very crazy. But no,
Yeah.
it's huge.
Yeah. And even that, like, there's a community of readers who, like, are looking for, because you hear this on TikTok a lot, and hopefully everyone watching this, like if you're an author, if you're watching this, if you're not on TikTok, get on TikTok. The algorithm's changed a little bit. It's not as cool as it was a year ago, but it's still probably the best social media. I'm actually Instagram's gotten a little bit better than they were a year ago. TikTok's gotten a little worse, so you need both. But anyway, work your angles. Um, but I hear this a lot on TikTok that people are like, God, I keep seeing the same books being promoted. And it's like the really big accounts a lot of times are all talking about the same. It's like Akatar's out, and that's all they heard about for a month. And there's people who like want that other thing, right? Like they don't necessarily want Starbucks. They want the local coffee shop, right? They want something
Yeah.
that maybe is like a little hidden gem other people don't know about. And like that's kind of what makes it cool for them that like I could be the first to discover this little hidden diamond, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
there's a whole community that's ready to have your back and it's just a matter of how to find them. And that's one of the areas where I'm hoping we can have an impact and help you. So
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like you said, community. I mean, I have actually met a lot of really good, I would call legit friends. Like, I mean,
yeah,
you, Ron Shaw, like there's a bunch of
yeah,
people that I personally would call as friends because I met through this this common thing that we have, like this thing, oh my gosh, words, this thing that we have in common.
yeah,
Because writing is a full journey, and when you have someone you can kind of bounce ideas off of, or you can talk about something that you relate to, like that builds friendships and that builds relationships and that helps just like grow your community. Because
mhm,
here's a hard truth that a lot of people find out the hard way is when you put out a book, you'll be surprised how many people don't say, like people around you don't say anything and or don't do
mhm,
anything, and it's a growing pain of its own. But then you
yeah,
find this community of people who are so supportive because that's what they're doing too,
yeah,
and just being able to promote each other. And so like yeah, if you see other accounts, other readers putting up your friend's book too, that's such
yeah.
an exciting thing to be like, yay, go bestie. Like we're here in
Oh,
such an
it is
interesting market for
cool.
that.
Honestly, without it, and just a quick, like my personal story. So, like, I've won six different literary awards, including three first place. I've only got three family members who have ever read a word I've written. You know what I mean? It's like, and so, like, you hear that a lot from authors that their own family are like the least supportive. And it's not that I even have a bad family. It's not even that they don't read. I don't know what the hangup is, but like, you hear that a lot. And if you don't have a network, that can be very discouraging because like you put in all this effort, you did this thing, your book is out there, you're so excited, and then you just want to share that excitement with like your people, and then your people are just not there with you, and you could be like, okay, I'm just going to quietly go back to my 9 to 5, you know what I mean, and just we'll just never talk about this. But you don't have to do that. So like there's a whole network of people around the country who like just there's readers who all they want to do is read books, and then there's writers who like want to connect with other writers, and there's amazing people who like want to help build you up and you can help build them up, and get connected with these communities. And like if you're trying to find these communities, you're trying to find the right people place to start, come our way. But that is a huge thing to keep going on this journey. Otherwise, like your immediate life can be very discouraging for this artistic
Yeah.
journey here. Yeah.
Well, and one of the craziest things, it still just blows my mind, and because I'm an avid reader too, and I've
Yeah.
been literally only reading indie author books because there's just so many good ones out there.
Right.
But one of the craziest things is when I get done with the book, or even halfway through, if I have a question, I can message that author and talk to them. So like I had an author friend, and like we're really close, so it's okay. But I
Yeah.
messaged him, I was like, I don't know if I can finish your book because you just ended someone that I really liked. And
Like,
it's a
listen, I'm a
joke,
little bit
but
upset about this. Yeah.
but then he was like, keep going, keep going. So like having that communication is crazy. It brings it a level deeper into your reading
Yeah.
experience too.
No, it is a thing that like, because I mean, once an author is very successful, they're not necessarily accessible once they're successful, right? Like I couldn't get a hold of Stephen King and be like, hey, why did you make the clown in it? Like why is he bald on top? You can't do that. But with these indie authors, I mean, these are just like people in your, I mean, they're basically like people in your community, no matter where they are, but they're just like everyday people who are building this dream while working, raising kids, living entire lives. I mean, they're not like, superstars who are, wearing disguises in public. And you can just reach out and be like, hey, you can get to know the crazy minds who write these books you love. And that's a lot of fun, I think, and maybe you could know this person ahead of this extraordinary journey they're going to have, right? You'd be like,
Mhm.
you could get an autograph from them before it was very expensive to do so, or you know what I mean? You could
Yeah,
be the first to read some book that goes on to have an extraordinary future.
yeah,
So, yeah,
absolutely.
it's damn
One of
cool.
I'll say one of the other things I kind of noticed, and this is not to like bash on any of the traditionally published authors, but
Yeah.
um, I feel like a lot more indie author books have so much soul to them, so much
Mm,
more soul to them. Like I feel like there are some trad published books out there that are entertainment based, and like they might have sprinkled some of their stuff in there, but
yeah.
indie author books have so much real life to them because that's how people express themselves. And I
Yeah.
feel like, especially knowing the person, you kind of connect on an emotional level with them.
Yeah.
Um, it's beautiful. It's a whole thing.
No, and it's, if I could, this a very interesting point you're making here. So, like, the way I see it with traditional publishers is, you're a business and you're putting your name on it. And it's like you see this all the time, like maybe not as recently, but like, I'm thinking of an example like Manny Pacquiao, the boxer, comes from the Philippines and he said something about gay people. And then Nike is like, we got to pull this sponsorship because we don't want anyone to think that our brand is associated with these comments. And traditional publishers are in that same boat, right? If they're going to invest in a book and put their name on it, that book cannot push too many boundaries. Like it can't be too outside the box. It can't have characters that maybe say or do controversial things. And they got to be very careful because their reputation's at stake. So I think books do get toned down a bit, and they get more like, let's stay within a certain lane. But the independent publishers, they'll push bound, or the independent writers who publish will push boundaries, and sometimes you hear wild stories, right? Like there's been some books published that are like the person should be in jail, right? Like there's it goes different directions, but
Yes.
you sometimes get extraordinary art that's like, wow, like a mainstream publisher would not have taken a chance on a
Mhm.
book that is just like two steps ahead of where society is, or it's just really obscure and abstract. And but you can
Yeah.
find these like amazing gems, in the indie community. I mean, there's some incredible works floating around there. Yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. So I won't keep you too long. We wanted to basically announce the business here. So in terms of where it stands today, the services that we offer right now are book movie trailers is our big one. Living covers, which will take your book cover and we'll give it motion. And then for me, this is like way cooler because I like to put a book cover at the end of my videos, right? And it could be like a 5 second. The cover's in motion, it's moving, it's dynamic, the characters are alive on the page. And for me, that's like, I love that. So that's another one we're doing right now. We've got some like proofreading and editing services. We've got cover design. We've got some free PDF guides and downloads, some free blogs written by other authors, just, giving little bits of word of advice, sharing things they've learned along the way. And now we're also putting together more editors, more narrators to produce your audiobook, networks of like influencers, maybe podcasts that'll take you on. We're trying to build up this very solid network of like, here's people you should know or people who can take you from where you are to where you want to be in some certain area. So I hope you'll check out our website is bookvision.net. And then we're doing our grand launch on October 4th. And that'll be like the big ribbon cutting ceremony. And we're just going to like just take this thing as far as it'll go. So
Yeah, I'm very excited to see where it goes.
I'm stoked about it too. So check in with us on October 4th, check in with our website. And then if there's anything that you want to know that we haven't covered yet, like we're two people, we're working on a team. We're probably going to bring in more people, as the business is scaling, but we want to make it as valuable as possible. So like, if you're an author watching this and you're like, hey, I'm stuck in this one particular thing, send us an email. Let us know what that is. I mean, we'll look into it. We'll reach out to the community. We'll get some good insight. If we find an author who really, really knows this well, like we'll have them, write a blog. We'll invite them to write some free content. So like you can build this with us. Like we're from the jump, this business has been in many ways very collaborative. Like our book movie trailers is collaborative, but I think the website is going to be like that too, whether it's the different authors writing blogs or people reaching out, hey, I'm stuck here, and or these are the needs, or you know what I mean. I think it's going to evolve in a very like community kind of way. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that collaborative website.
Yeah,
community
that's kind of an
marketing.
interesting idea. I haven't, yeah,
Yes.
that could be, but that feels right for this
Yeah,
brand. But
absolutely.
yeah, I mean, it's authors helping authors and other authors helping other authors and readers connecting with authors. And we'll just grow the whole thing like with that kind of mindset. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, we will talk soon, but thank you everyone for tuning in. And we will see you October 4th for the grand opening.
All right. I'm excited.
Cool. All right. Thanks, everyone.